Was rap created to keep prisons filled?
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So
Literally the same people?
literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons.
This is a topic that is really interesting to me because I'm someone who listens to rap frequently. So unsurprisingly, this topic caught my attention. And it's been discussed among huge figures in the music industry too. And it even sparked other conspiracy theories about rap. So without further ado, let's just dive in.
We're told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messes in their
No
music.
positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and
So let's talk about this meeting that allegedly took place in 1991. Basically, the gist of it is that a bunch of music executives had some secret meeting to make rap more violent and push this violent narrative so that they could fill up privately owned prisons for profit. Well, that's the short way of explaining it. Now, this conspiracy theory was birthed after an unsigned letter surfaced on the internet in the early 2010s. An anonymous author posted this, and he simply just referred to himself as John Smith. Here's what he had to say. He described 25 to 30 music executives sitting down with men in suits who you could assume is the FBI, or everyone's favorite target, the CIA, to discuss pushing gangster rap in order to fill some privately owned prisons that the parent companies had invested in. They would basically have to market music that promoted criminal behavior. They also had to sign contracts to never speak of this, or there would be consequences. Now, here's the thing about this letter though. There are some questionable things about this alleged meeting. The anonymous author who posted this did not state any names or labels to verify this alleged meeting, but you could also argue that this was done for the safety and well-being of the author. But the thing is, he leaves info that no truly anonymous person would ever leave. In the letter, he gives dates and a little bit of his background, such as where he's from, when he joined the music industry, and when he left the music industry, and even that he was one of the 30 major decision makers in the music industry. If you did enough research, you could potentially find out who he was. So, and if he was really in the music industry to begin with. So this completely contradicts him trying to be anonymous. Because why would you leave that type of info? Sure, maybe it's to make the story more believable, but if you were really trying to be anonymous, you would leave those type of details out. So that's just one huge red flag. Then there is the place where it was posted. The letter was emailed to someone named Ivan, who then posted it on the website Hip Hop Is Red. If you were some former high-level executive who has been holding on to this letter for years and this info for years, why would you email it to somebody to post it on some niche website instead of a place like YouTube or Twitter, or even some other huge news source? Then there's this timeline. You see, they were supposed to promote music that would create social problems or illegal activities that would land people in jail, specifically the black community, who were the primary target of this. But stuff like this had already existed way before 1991, especially in places like Compton. An investigation was done by the NPR, and they concluded that, quote, it resonates because it reflects real systematic issues regarding mass incarceration and the exploitation of black culture, end quote. And to be honest, I agree with this statement. Now, another thing is that there's really no need for this meeting to happen. The rise of gangster rap was just like artists like NWA, for an example, just rapping and reflecting on the reality of everyday life that they lived through in the streets of Compton. NWA is just one example of artists using rap to reflect the harsh realities of the lives that they were living. Also, gangster rap was just a term created by the media that was actually referred to reality rap, which is what it was known as.
Because did you ever call it gangster rap?
Not in the beginning.
Exactly.
We called it reality rap. And the word gangster rap, I think it was coined by a LA Times writer. I think his name is...
Now, here's the logical explanation for this alleged meeting that took place. This was posted around the time creepypastas were at its peak. Somebody probably took the idea of promoting violence among the black community to fill prisons and turned it into a story that would hopefully blow up so that the person who wrote this could get their 10 minutes of fame. And it worked. There is no credible evidence that this meeting ever took place. It's just a well-written story that was posted on a niche website and blew up. Now, you could make the argument that the government, in a way, had something to do with rap being created. I'll use NWA for an example. Gangster rap was originally referred to as reality rap, where artists would rap about the harsh realities of gang life or violence on the streets. And that stems from social issues like racism, police brutality, and poverty, which the government is kind of at fault for these type of social issues. Even Ice Cube, the man who wrote a lot of NWA's lyrics, said in a song released in 2008, quote, "I'm blaming them motherfuckers for gangster rap, because if they didn't create these kind of conditions, I wouldn't have shit to rap about," end quote. These social conditions and problems that primarily the black community and even the Hispanic communities had to live through is what created rap. It was kind of a way to vent about it. Also, one more problem about this idea of rap being created to keep prisons filled is that what if the music was just ass? In a way, if this was true, that means these men in suits at the meeting had to bet on rap actually taking off. And yeah, music executives had to market it, but if the music was bad, it wouldn't, it's simple, it just wouldn't blow up the way it did. So that's a huge risk that these men in suits would have to take. So no, rap was not created to promote violence and fill these privately owned prisons.